What is going on, everyone? Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Forward Thinking Founders. I am very grateful to have your attention, at least for the next 15 minutes of this episode. Forward Thinking Founders is a podcast where I interview pre-seed and seed stage founders about their products, what they want to build into the world, and why. We dive into how they spend their time, what's their vision, what's the origin stories, all these things, so you can learn all about what's coming tomorrow. Because these companies haven't hit critical scale yet. Most of them haven't hit product market fit. These are just early stage companies, and the big question is, what can this be? And in this podcast, we bring that out. So with that, I really hope you enjoy your time listening to today's episode. And I've already done 200 plus, so if you like this one, listen to some of the other ones, like with Amadi Kund, Austin Allred, Leah Culver. We have great interviews, so check it out, enjoy the repository, and for now, let's get into today's episode. Here we go. All right, how's it going, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Forward Thinking Founders, where we talk to founders about their companies, their visions for the future, and how the two collide. Today, I'm very excited to be talking to Katarina Lotrič, who's a co-founder of Gentler Stories. Welcome to the show. How's it going?
Hello, thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. I'm looking forward to learning more about what you are working on. For people that haven't heard of your company, what is Gentler Stories?
Well, essentially, we are a mobile app studio. And right now we're working, I guess it's fair to say that we've all been a part of the industry for 10 years. And then in February, it's going to be 1 year since we started working on Gentler Stories. And we have our first app out, which is called Gentler. And it's essentially a fitness habit tracker.
So walk us through a little bit of how it works. If someone were to try out the app, experience it, what could they do? And just walk me through the user experience a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Do you mind if I share a bit of a background story first?
Sure.
So
that's totally cool.
Yeah. So you know what got us here.
Sure.
Yeah. So there's 4 of us on the team, the 4 co-founders, and there has been 2 burnouts in the past. So, and they are both related to the physical activity levels. One was because Andrei, who's our designer, he was preparing for a triathlon. Is that how you pronounce it over there? Triathlon? Yeah.
Yeah. Triathlon. Yep, pretty much.
Yeah. Okay. So he was preparing for that on his own, and he overtrained. So he got to a place where he basically almost couldn't get out of the bed for a month and a half. And with me, I got an injury and I couldn't work out for 6 months. And then the physical activity was my main coping mechanism with stress. So that slowly led to a decline in my physical and mental health, really. So I got diagnosed with burnout. And then we just started playing with the idea, how to first help ourselves in leading a sustainably active life, and maybe even others, because we couldn't find an app on the App Store that would help us do that. I mean, there's a lot of habit trackers, but usually they address like lifestyle, everything. We decided to focus on the fitness. And there's also a lot of sports apps, exercise apps, I don't know, Strava, for instance, but they're mainly competitive. So that you keep pushing, and that's not good. I mean, that can lead to burnout as well. So we had the technology, we had the knowledge on how to approach it. We started doing the research, started working on it, and then we launched in September. So basically what the app does, it is, as said, iOS. It's on iOS. That means it works with your iPhone and your Apple Watch or any smartwatch, basically. And it just guides you towards, it helps you grow a healthy fitness habit, let's say a lifelong fitness habit. That means that it tries to keep you inside a healthy streak, so that you don't overreach and that you don't fall off the bandwagon. Yeah.
So when you decided to work on this product, how did you even know where to start? How did you know what to build, what was a distraction, what wasn't, and how did you make some of those decisions?
Yeah, I guess it helped that the 4 of us, I think together we have 36 years of experience in iOS. So we know the ecosystem pretty well. We know the solutions pretty well. I'm sure there's a lot of we still don't know, but let's say we're pretty familiar with building the app, creating the idea, looking for value proposition, doing the research, knowing the user acquisition channels, marketing ways, and stuff like that. So we've worked in the past. Before this, I was a co-founder at Lake, and Lake is a coloring book app. We won an Apple Design Award. So I guess we know something when it comes to that. And I guess that helped, and especially then being personally invested in the idea, like, I want to have a lifelong fitness. Yeah, because it's not only physical benefits, it's also mental benefits. It's like you go for a walk for half an hour and it elevates your mood. It gets your endorphins going.
So it sounds like you all kind of have like a certain level of experience, which means you've done a lot of this before. But every new venture, every new product is different. Every path is different. So my question for you is like, what have you learned on this kind of go around as you've been working on Gentler? Like, is there something you've learned about marketing or product or raising money? What have you learned so far?
Yes, I think so far we've learned the most about how difficult it is to bring the message across of what you're really doing. It's like figuring out value proposition. Because if you look on the App Store right now, you're going to see we're called Gentler Approach to Fitness, which made a whole lot of sense to us, but it's actually quite vague. But the time you reached out to us at a time where we're just rebranding, so it's like we think we just made a huge step forward. I think, if there would be one lesson, I would say that you must not cling on to your ideas or cling on to something that you think it's good. But you have to keep an open mind and listen to people who really use it and what is their value, what value do they see in the product. So, sometimes you go into something believing that that's the thing, but market can tell you otherwise. And I think, that you have to be open to that.
And if you were to kind of look out into the future kind of for this product, for this app, what do you kind of see as the big vision for it? Like, what do you think it could be as it grows, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, even longer? What's the big vision here?
Well, I would like it to be a #1 app that helps you lead a lifelong fitness habit. That's simple.
I like
simple
it.
as that. Yeah.
I mean, what's cool about that is like a lot goes into obviously becoming the #1 app, right? There's a lot of things that have to go right and a lot of work that has to be done. Which means you'll need some help, right? It takes a village to make a startup and a product kind of work and scale. So my question for you is, how can the forward-thinking founders community help? Are you hiring? Are you, raising money for it, looking for, customers or users? How can we assist?
Yeah, right now I would say we're so far we're self-funded, and we got one national tender and we applied for a European one. But we're definitely thinking about venture capital. We're playing around with the idea. We don't have any experience in it, so I think finding out, I don't know, the biggest lessons that your community had in that'd be interesting to hear. And also early adopters, of course, we're always eager to get feedback from people who see value in our product.
And then if someone wanted to try it out or learn more about you or kind of share about venture capital, anything like that, how can they find you online? Like, do you have a website, on the App Store, social media account, email address? How can someone learn more?
Yeah, there's a website. I think that's the best channel to go to. It's www.gentlerstories.com, and it leads to our product site on the App Store as well. And we're always happy to have you as beta testers, to add you to our test flight and give you a Gentler premium and hear what you think.
Cool. Well, thank you so much for coming on to the podcast. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.